Hello everybody out there in comic book land. My name is George Serrano, aka The Don, and I am here for the third installment of the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition Comic Book Clique Comic Book Movie Commentaries. Try to say that 5 times fast. Last we left off, the Dark Knights and the Last Son of Krypton were getting ready for Fight Night, as Lex Luthor calls it. Wonder Woman was looking deeply into an email sent by Bruce Wayne that has a whole bunch of stuff from LexCorp in it, a lot of LexCorp information. Martha Wayne is held captive by Lex Luthor, and we're going to see how exactly she's going to get out of that situation, how Superman is going to either try to explain the situation to Batman or have to fight him like he told Lois Lane. We pause at the 2-hour 0 minute and 0 second mark, so go ahead and cue everything back up because we're going to jump right back in to Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. I'm ready for this part, the third act, the final fight. So let's get started. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. And yeah, like I said, this is where we left off last time. Batman basically saying, I know you got to be somebody special because this picture is from 100 years ago. And you do not look 100 years old. Alfred looks 100 years old. You're just kind of, you're really pretty. And, you know, he wants to know, basically, what the deal is. And then we get these 4 specific folders created by Lex Luthor to track metahumans. It has all, I guess, footage and documents. Everything that they would need to have or any information that they were able to grab on certain metahumans. What confused me, though, is that each of the folders has its own logo on it. Logos that these superheroes will then use in the general public, either for their costumes or just as an insignia for themselves. So why did Lex Luthor go to this trouble of creating these logos for them? And how do they know, how will they know that these logos were created so that they could use them in the future? I'm not too sure. You kind of got the Aquaman A, the Cyborg C, the Wonder Woman W, and the Flash lightning bolt. So at least they got all those things right. And that was Barry Allen, new Barry Allen, Ezra Miller, not Grant Gustin from the CW show. And here is, yeah, Aquaman, Jason Momoa in all his glory. And they're going to do the very best job they can to make Aquaman a badass in Justice League. So it has to start now. And it starts with this here. He's aiming and boom. Look at that, able to shoot that, I believe that was a ship, some kind of shipping vessel. And here we go. We got Silas Stone, father of Victor Stone. And we see the beginnings of how he becomes cyborg, how he's half human. And his father's trying desperately to keep him alive. You can see the stress on his face. The hours are pouring by. He does not have a solution to keep his son alive. And then all of a sudden, it looks like a little bit of alien technology that we'll see a little bit in the future. But with this box here, almost like a mother box, he's able to do something he was never able to do before, and that is bring his son back to life. But as what? As a half man, half robot, basically. You can see the limbs growing, and that's the end of that. And that's all Wonder Woman needs to see before she realizes that Batman may be on the right side of things. And speaking of Batman, and there's Lois. Lois Lane needs a helicopter, a whole helicopter. And Perry White is going to give her shit, but he's going to give it to her because, you know, he's Perry White. Even though he's mean, he does eventually give Lois Lane all he wants. He's just really, really mean to Clark for some reason. And she's just trying to get to Gotham, I guess, to explain to Batman the situation because Superman just told it to her. So I guess she's hoping that she can get in touch with the big, angry Batman, which is, you know, far-fetched, but at least Lois has never really been scared. And here comes Superman, coming to the site of the bat symbol, and then we have this face-off, which is a face-off we've been waiting for in cinematic history forever. And you see Superman is trying to explain the situation with Martha to Batman as Batman walks backwards, setting Superman up for a trap. So here we go, like some supersonic waves that are supposed to hurt Superman, and he just looks mildly annoyed. And then boom, breaks off those things and destroys them. And he gets another opportunity here to explain to Batman what's going on with his mom, but he's just kind of talking in riddles. He's saying he don't understand, you don't get it. Instead of just jumping to the conclusion, he has my mom. What? He has my mom, and he's gonna kill her because he told me to kill you. But that never really happens. Once Clark fights back in that moment when he pushed Batman, the fight has begun, and all you're gonna get for the next about 5 or 6 minutes is these two going at it. Look at that scene there. We saw that kind of in the trailer. I thought that meant that Superman was going kind of evil, just having those red eyes and stuff. But it was just him using that laser vision. And look at that vision of Batman there, out of breath, covered in rain, in the Dark Knight Returns suit. It's beautiful. This is a fight, like I said, we've been waiting for forever. And cinematically, it looks gorgeous. And like I said, with Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns having that suit and that Batman versus Superman fight, I set myself up for all those expectations, and that might have been the wrong thing to do. In that fight, Batman was a much older person, about ready to retire, and Superman was trying to put him down because he felt that the ways he was fighting crimes were no longer safe. There's very similar themes in this film, but in this one, Superman basically doesn't want to hurt Bruce Wayne. The only reason, or Batman, the only reason why he's doing it is because his mom is captured, and he says it right there, stay down or else you'll be dead already. And, well, Batman doesn't take too kindly to threats. In true Batman form, he's gone in a puff of smoke, and then in a scene straight out of The Dark Knight Returns, Superman is shot, but not just shot, boom, blasted in the face with kryptonite gas. It happened just the same way in The Dark Knight Returns, but they brought it here for our cinematic glory. And you see that smile across Batman's face as he could tell that his plan worked, or at least his weapon worked. And he'd been working on these weapons for so long. Look at how much effort he put forth in trying to get the kryptonite from Lex Luthor. And I guess it was worth it, because look at that. Now Batman can go toe-to-toe with Superman because of all the kryptonite that is degrading Superman's cells inside his body because of the gas. And Batman throwing some stiff haymakers, some knees. Look at that elbow. Like I said, it gets very, very brutal at this point. Now that Batman knows that he is in the winning position. Now that he knows that things are more on his side. And he's able to, look at that, crash down on Superman. And this is just, I mean, it's painful. It's kind of painful to watch. Superman being such a well-regarded superhero. And I'm a Batman fan, but I really came into this film looking for Superman Part 2. Batman has done so many great films, and he always will, but I was always waiting for the right treatment of Superman. Kind of in the same way that Marvel handled Captain America, where it's this timeless character who naively believes in truth and justice and is going to work as hard as he can to make those beliefs come to life. He sees the best in people, and he's going to never give up that dream. In this one, Superman, in Man of Steel, he feels like he needs to save the world, and in this one, he doesn't even know if the world wants to be saved. And now we have him fighting somebody who will eventually become one of his best friends in the comics, in Bruce Wayne / Batman, and Batman is taking it to him. I'm talking about taking him to the woodshed. Look at those punches. Now, eventually, eventually, he kind of gets his wherewithal back, and Superman has his second wind, no pun intended, as he flies through the air and crashes Batman through the floor. But I guess it's Superman's turn to do some bat beating, and even though Batman's in that huge suit, the strength of Superman is unmatched, and sends him down. Like I said, this is all cool with me watching it in the theaters prior to knowing how this scene actually ends. And this was also kind of tricky to me. Like, Superman gets shot with kryptonite gas, becomes weakened, and gets his butt kicked. Blows past that to then just get shot again with kryptonite gas. And proceeds to get his butt kicked. He's about to get his butt kicked really, really bad. But I do like that image there. Ben Affleck's face showing through the destroyed mask. It allows a little bit of more emotion to be conveyed when we get into this scene here. And we're going to need all the emotion that's possible, because they were really trying to do some heavy lifting. And speaking of heavy lifting, they said they did everything in this fight but hit each other with the kitchen sink. And there's the kitchen sink, or at least the bathroom sink. I'm not even sure what building this is. But, yeah, there's the bathroom sink. we have seen a Batman on a rampage this entire film. Those punches, those knees, breaking him through the floor. That shot with the kitchen sink, and now Batman hoisting Superman's lifeless body over his shoulder. This was such a grim, Dark Knight that we've ever seen before, and now taking out a member of the Justice League, basically. Before this team is even formed, this is called Dawn of Justice, and Batman throwing Superman. Basically a couple stories down. I love the use of the grappling hook in this film, though. He's always using the grappling hook, almost like Spider-Man does the webs. And I've always thought that was one of Batman's greatest gadgets right there, is the grappling hook. He saved a lot of people with it, and he's been able to conduct peace with it. Right now, he's not trying to do either one of those things. He is trying to hurt Superman, and he will. And like I said, this is a guy who's been threatened by this otherworldly power since the events of Man of Steel. Somebody who saw all those towers and all those people get hurt, possibly killed, because of this thing he does not understand. And this is his fight against that, against things he doesn't understand, against things that are more powerful than him. He's able to use his intellect to ground the Man of Steel. Something that he's got to be very proud of himself. And you see him occasionally, he'll smile because he knows that he got him right where he wants him. And speaking about right where he wants him, check this out. The Kryptonite Spear. Batman crafted in his Batcave just for this specific reason, this specific fight. Chopper Hopper. I don't even know. Is that like a Uber for helicopters? And she's gonna try to find these guys in the entire city of Gotham. Good luck, Lois. And now Batman is ready to go for the kill. You weren't a god. You're not even a man. Look at that anger. And then the scratch across his face. Batman has this guy dead to rights. It is time to end the alien experiment. And there it goes. Moment of silence for all common sense. And there you go. Bruce Wayne now finding out that Martha, or about to find out that Martha, is also the first name of Clark Kent's mother. Clark Kent's alive mother. Clark Kent, Superman saying Martha, sends his mind back to the day that his mother was killed, and the idea of saving Martha, the opportunity to save Martha, is one that confuses Batman, as he doesn't know right now what Clark Kent is talking about, even though Clark Kent is basically just trying to save his mom. The same way Batman thought he could save his mom, or wished he could save his mom that day in Crime Alley. It's a bunch of Martha. Everybody's saying Martha. I love this piano score, though. This piano score is beautiful. And Ben Affleck shows the frustration. There's nothing wrong with the actors here. I just don't know why they decided to put this as the stopping point. And Lois shows up and sees Batman over her boyfriend, about to stab him in the heart. And it's like, oh, this is his mother's name. This is his mother's name, bro. And he's like, oh, damn. Oh, wow. So kind of sorry about that. Clark, Miss Lane, I hope you guys are well. I'm just gonna take a walk here. Maybe walk back to Gotham. Throws the Kryptonite Spear. For what reason, I don't really know. I think that thing is still something you would want to keep close to you, in case something crazy were to happen. And guess what? Something crazy is about to happen, in which they're going to need the Kryptonite Spear. But Batman's not feeling like himself. People are bringing up his mom's name. He's not, he's not feeling too great. Superman's got 10 minutes to save old Mama Kent. Because, look at that. The fire burns. It's getting hot in here. They wanted to trade Batman for... Lex Luthor basically told Superman he wants to trade Batman for his mom. If Superman could bring back Batman, Superman gets his mom back. and Superman trying to save his mom right now, and Batman says, guess what? No Marthas are gonna die tonight. My Martha already died, your Martha is not gonna die, and I'm gonna go and do this. Now, this happens for two reasons, I'm guessing. One, because Clark Kent is kind of weakened by the exposure to the kryptonite elements that he received while fighting Batman. And two, to give Batman this awesome Arkham Knight-esque Batman sequence. There it goes, man. So the entire time of that fight, basically, Alfred was listening in on how he was beating up Superman, I guess. And then he's like, hey, that guy that they said Luthor hired to capture Martha, yeah, we got him. I know where he's at. And so Batman is off in the Batwing, or the wing, or the bat, depending on what you want to call it. And then this weird lightsaber kryptonite spear thing. Lois is like, this is probably making Clark weak, so I should get rid of it. Now, they're not talking about shooting this woman in the head or anything like that. They're talking about actually burning her to death. So that is a little bit more graphic than most criminals, you know, like, I'll throw her off this building, which seems to be like the big Superman thing, right? I'll throw him off this building. But no, none of that. They're going to burn her alive with a flamethrower. Speaking of grim and dark, here comes Batman opening fire on a series of gentlemen. Batman is not really known to kill. Those explosions definitely killed those men. But then again, there's a Batman who just finished fighting Superman and found out he was basically fighting him for the wrong reasons. So he's probably feeling pretty damn dumb. This is pretty cool too. Alfred basically aiding in aiding him in this whole thing, which is something you've never really seen before. Alfred, depending on which movie you watch, can go from just sitting there in a sitting there trying to pour people some lemonade and stuff like that, to now helping him fly the Batwing and putting him on the floor underneath these gentlemen so that he could have a Batman-esque entrance and the element of surprise, which is basically what Batman's all about. Everybody's waiting, the tension's building. Where's this Batman coming from? And then boom, just like that, putting hacking devices on the guns to destroy them. Boom, boom, boom. All the guns are destroyed, or the ones that were targeted at least. Then the grappling hook stuff, and this is just bat porn, basically. This is just what happens when somebody who loves Batman puts him in a fight scene and Batman just goes off. He's shooting his that's straight out of Arkham Knight, or any of the films in the Arkham series. That ability to shoot and then have them come at you and attack them. And now, come on, you throw a grenade at Batman, bro. You better go get that. Oh, and it's all gone. And while it's going on, without even flinching, without even looking back, Batman is going at it and choke slamming fools. Boom. And look at that. Out of control. There's blood on the wall. Batman is attacking about 8 people at once. And he's able, look at that. He's able to stop incoming attacks while laying down some outcoming attacks. And boom, boom. You got to think this is the Batman we've all been waiting for. It kind of makes you kind of forgive the Martha scene. And look at him. Look at that viciousness. And someone tried to shoot him in the head. You know how annoying that's got to be? And Batman is annoyed. But I guess a 2-on-1 approach is better. But look at him go, man. Trained by the League of Shadows or the League of Assassins, depending on who you ask. And yeah, you stabbed me, bro. You stabbed Batman. Like, what? Hold on. Let me handle this guy here. Bink, bink. And yep. Yeah, you're basically a goner. And now you, the guy who thought he could stab Batman, and the guy who thought it would be a good idea to stab Batman. I don't even know what he does to that guy there. That's just, might be too much. Look at that. A little bit of a standoff. He's basically saying he will make Martha into barbecue. And Batman taking things into his own hands, igniting the entire flamethrower, possibly killing that guy, most likely killing that guy. He's probably burning right now, alive. And he tells Martha, don't worry, I'm here. I am a friend of your son, so you ain't got nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, Lois is trying to find a nice, cool place to put this spear. I guess a place that no one could touch it, maybe? Or that it wouldn't have any kind of effect. Really, on Batman and, on Superman and all his stuff. But Lex Luthor is kind of pissed because somebody's late and Superman is supposed to have been at his hideout headquarters already with the head of Batman. And this is, you have Lex Luthor, he has an opportunity right here, right now, to regain control of the situation, dealing with Batman, dealing with Superman. Obviously, the whole fighting of Superman and Batman, that didn't work. That didn't give him exactly what he wanted. And because of that, he has to come up with a backup plan. And we saw him place the body of General Zod into the chambers of the Kryptonian ship. And we know that right now, he has a backup plan of some sort. We don't know exactly what it is. We saw Doomsday in the trailer. But he goes through this big speech about if man won't kill God, then God will kill man. Or the devil will kill man if God won't kill. Something like that. Something very religious. And then out of the ashes, or even from the pages of a Bible, of a mythical story, comes this creature of pure destruction, pure negative energy, pure malice, that they have to call him Doomsday. They refer to him as Superman's Doomsday himself. Look at the baby Doomsday, all cute in his little incubator. He said, born to destroy you. It's basically saying that this entire reason why this thing is on this earth, Superman, I've created this thing to kill you. That's the only thing he wants to do. He doesn't want to go to the park. He doesn't want to go to the movies. He doesn't want to go eat Chipotle. This thing is put on earth to kill you. But watch this moment here. Although this thing is put on earth to kill Superman, the very first thing this thing tries to do is punch Lex Luthor. I believe that's what it tried to do. Check this out. Look at those teeth. And Lex kind of smelling him happily. Look, he looked like he tried to punch Lex and Superman grabbed him. So, had Doomsday punched Lex, half of this movie would have been over already. We still would have to have fought Doomsday. But, man, talk about Frankenstein's monster. That thing is going bananas, just tearing up all sorts of cityscape. A weapon of pure destruction created just to kill one man. Look at that. We haven't even, we saw Batman take it to Superman like this. But this guy here, Doomsday, with his strength and his speed and just his viciousness, we're seeing a whole new destruction of Superman. But I'm kind of getting tired of Superman getting beat up. I mean, he's been beat up a lot in this film already, I feel. And I know you had to create a bigger bad than Luthor to merge the three, right? To unite the three of the Justice League, the main three, the Trinity, if you will. But I like my Doomsday a little bit more spiky. I like him with the kind of spiked hair, the beard. There's like he kind of has like spikes for a beard or something like that. And they get to something like that soon. But Look at the good police force taking care of Martha Wayne, and now Batman is on his way to go fight Doomsday. And Wonder Woman is still trying to leave. She's still trying to go. I wonder where she was going before this whole news thing broke out. You know how she's been considering and wondering about where she fits in with this Batman, Superman stuff since she was getting the emails and everything. And now that there's actually a creature that no one understands, a mythological creature, if you will, that's right up Wonder Woman's alley. You know, her dealing with all kinds of people from Greek and Roman mythology. And now she sees this beast that cannot be tamed. She's got to see that as a challenge. Speaking of seeing it as a challenge, Doomsday is getting blasted to bits here by a helicopter. And he uses all that energy to do what? Act as an EMP and short out the entire city. Those special effects are awesome. Showing the mass scale of destruction. Kind of reminds you of Destruction of Man of Steel, which is what this film is about. So, I guess destruction on top of destruction. I always thought two wrongs to make a right, but hey, I'm not Batman or Superman. Miss Prince, Diana Prince, baby. She's coming. She's coming for the fight. And Doomsday is ready, but Superman's ready too. And Superman's like, you know, I know how to get rid of this guy. I'm just going to take him. It's like an old joke that Superman's just going to punch you to the sun or fly you to the sun. I mean, it's one of the things that he can do. And it's one of the things that usually stops bad guys. So I'm pretty glad that he tried to use it in this situation. Because, yeah, you know, Doomsday's kind of ruining things right now. There you have it. They're getting ready to nuke Superman and Doomsday. Because that's what we do here in America. We are ungrateful. So, as these two beings are in the sky, seemingly aiming towards the sun, or maybe he's trying to knock him to the moon. Superman now fighting him in outer space, fighting Doomsday, and then the nuke being released by America. You know, Clark has to do a job to make sure that this thing hits its target. Because we got to get rid of this thing once and for all. Who knows what this thing could do if it was still alive. If it could still ravage and rage through the city. You got to put this weird Goomba. Remember the Goombas from Super Mario Brothers? Boom. Putting this weird Goomba down. He just was nuked, bro. An entire nuke. Doomsday just destroyed. Seemingly. And no nuclear fallout, no radiation, I guess, comes raining down and turning all these people into mutants or metahumans. No, that would be a different show. In this one, or this film, we just wait to see what happens. And boom. Doomsday comes crashing down. My God. Crashing down from outrageous heights after getting hit by a nuke, basically on this inhabited island, which I believe that they considered it inhabited or called it inhabited just so they can blow up some stuff later on. But as long as people aren't getting hurt, like I said again, like in Man of Steel. So that's always good. There's Doomsday. And he's just getting all the power from everything that's ever attacked him. Now, that's something that's actually from the comics. Doomsday, the character, does get stronger every time you harm him. And if you were to kill him, he's able to come back to life. And you're unable to kill him in that same way again. His body finds a way to evolve past dying the same way he died the very last time. Now, something in this happened in Dark Knight Returns as well, where Superman was helping fight a war overseas with the enemy had nuclear weapons, and ends up trying to nuke him or something like that, and he gets nuked up in the sky and basically loses all his powers, but is able to use earth, grass, flowers, and stuff like that to regain his energy. But right now, he's not looking too good up there in space. And we saw everything that Doomsday can do, and now Batman, a man with no powers, is going to try to attack him. with his Batwing. And this, I believe, this is another scene we saw in the commercial of Batman, just that Batwing just cutting through the water. It's such a sexy looking vehicle. They say chicks dig the car, but that plane thing gotta help. And now he's asking for all his kryptonite weaponry. All the stuff that he was using to beat up Superman that maybe will have an effect on this Kryptonian alien. And the only thing left is the spear that Lois Lane threw God knows where. Oh man, look at that. Almost like zombie Superman, and how the rays of the sun are just able to rejuvenate him, make him better, make him more powerful. That beautiful, beautiful yellow sun of ours. And even here, as Doomsday is doing his very, very best to take out a man with no powers. Again, he's just basically just playing with Bruce Wayne as a way, same way a cat would play with a ball of string, because Doomsday could, and that's a shot we got from the trailer, which was awesome. But like I said, I still missed my bearded Doomsday. This is kind of like prepubescent Doomsday, a younger Doomsday. And with a shot that could possibly kill Batman, Doomsday sends energy beams his way, only to be stopped by the gauntlets of Wonder Woman, the very famous gauntlets of Wonder Woman. And here she comes, here she appears. And she's ready to strike, sending all that energy back at Doomsday. And she is a warrior. She is an Amazon, and she is ready to fight. And with Superman here, the Trinity is complete. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the beginnings of the Justice League, or the dawn of justice, if you will. I guess you could also call it that. And don't forget Lois Lane. Lois Lane is also in this movie. She does a lot of falling. And look at that. They keep, this is an abandoned place, everybody. Abandoned. So when everything blows up and everything explodes, don't get upset. It's not Man of Steel. There's nobody here. Batman's already said it, and so did somebody from the military. How did Superman know he was looking for the spear? And here goes another kryptonite bullet. I wonder how many of those Batman had. And he was ready for that fight against Superman. Yeah, I've killed things from other worlds before. That's what you were ready for. Is she with you? I thought she was with you. Batman, she is with you because you sent her the email. You sent her the email with the picture, and you're like, hey, and you recognize her. I hope you recognize her. I hope it's not one of those things where somebody puts on a tiara and you can't remember who they are, or secret identity like Robin with his eye mask. But, to each his own. And look at that wave of energy. I think that's beautiful cinematically. Like how they're able to show the pure destruction Doomsday's able to cause with his energy blasts. It's terrifying, just seeing that electricity rip through things and tear apart structures and blow basic people away. And Wonder Woman trying to do her best with her shield, her beautiful, beautiful shield. It's not a Captain America shield, but I guess it could do the job. It's not vibranium or anything like that, anything cool like that. But and going straight for the action, Wonder Woman goes straight in, even before Superman does. Wonder Woman is there at the scene and is trying to do her best to take down this behemoth. And look at that, with those strikes and those double teams, her and Superman working as a team. Who would have ever thought we would have seen the cinematic debut of Wonder Woman and Superman tag teaming against Doomsday in 2016? We got great things with Deadpool and X-Men Apocalypse, Civil War. And even though this movie's not great, this fight here is really very similar to what I always saw in the Justice League and comic books, when the Justice League would team up against some almost unstoppable force and almost get beaten to the brink, but it takes all of their teamwork and their ability to not give up to stop them. And you saw that face there that Wonder Woman made when she was knocked to the wall. It wasn't one like, oh my gosh, we're losing. It was one like, this sucker just hit me. all right, that's the way we're gonna fight. Let's do it. Which I thought was pretty cool. Show kind of the badass nature of Wonder Woman, which I always thought was something that needed to be showcased if you were going to showcase the character. And there goes some laser eye vision right there by Superman, locking eyes with his Doomsday, the thing created to destroy him, the thing Lex Luthor birthed from the ashes of General Zod. And just like General Zod, this thing is sending Superman all over the place, destroying all kinds of things. Superman looked like he was ready to do something, but he sensed that Lois was in danger. For the third time now, I believe, the situation in Africa, when Lex pushed her off the building and now she is drowning. So he just stopped fighting Doomsday, something that could eventually kill the entire world if need be, if he could. That's exactly what he would want to do. He stopped doing all of that to save Lois Lane, which I guess is it's a huge character thing for him. Superman, Lois Lane, we all know, but come on. And I wonder, man, if Superman could like super swim. That's probably in the comics somewhere. I wonder if he ever had like a swimming race with Aquaman. Well, I'm pretty sure Aquaman would win that. And look at that, Batman basically bat grappling his way out of the way so he doesn't lose any limbs in this Doomsday fight. And I do not blame him. Check that out. He's playing monkey see, monkey, not monkey see, monkey do, but almost like keep away, like tag with Doomsday, because he knows he can't go up there and punch him in the face. This thing is a humongous monstrosity born of Kryptonian technology and the vengeance and blood of Lex Luthor. It will not go down until Superman is down, and Superman is not down yet, even though he's holding a kryptonite spear. And what the heck is Lois Lane trying to do? Oh, okay. No, Lois was just pushing that spear away so that he can feel a little bit more healthy and a little bit more better. But this is when Clark realizes that the kryptonite spear is what's gonna take. Doomsday sending the sword and the shield of Wonder Woman's away. And look at that smile on her face as she picks it back up and boom. Cuts Doomsday's hand off. Like, she said she killed beings from other worlds before, and you gotta think that weapon, that sword, has to be forged with some sort of metal that's able to just go like a hot knife through butter, cut off Doomsday's hand. Incredible. But Doomsday's still there, and he's still powering up, and Clark, being the ever so sacrificial Clark that he is, feels that it is his job to stop all of this. And Clark decides he needs to get up, which he does need to kind of get up. There is a big fight happening right now. And it looks like Doomsday's trying to go for one more transformation. And Wonder Woman is able to use the lasso of truth to bind this beast. And watch it glow. Look how beautifully it glows. And then the kryptonite gas shot in the face by Batman. Batman should have had a spear gun. What do they call those things? Like a harpoon. Where he had a kryptonite harpoon and he could have just shot Doomsday. But nope. Superman taking it upon himself to sacrifice himself to be able to stab Doomsday. When I say sacrifice himself, I say for various reasons. One, Superman is weak to kryptonite, so him being in the proximity makes him weaker. And two, boom, right through the chest and heart. Doomsday stabbing Superman. Right, yeah, like I said, right through the chest and heart. Basically trying his very best to kill the Man of Steel. And Superman realizes that the only way to shove the spear deeper into Doomsday to make sure that he's dead is to allow Doomsday to stab him deeper. And there he goes. And doing that, he's able to stab the beast one final time with the spear. It actually going through his body. And Doomsday is no more. But in the same sense, we are brought to believe that Superman also is no more. And it is at this point that I started to bug out, because I'm like, wait a minute. So majority of the Batman Superman stuff is Dark Knight Returns. And now we have the death of Superman, the very famous comic, Death of Superman, in which he fights Doomsday to a standstill, and it ends with the death of Superman. You know, very iconic, very controversial, and very mainstream story. So it was very, I was very curious to see this being portrayed because I felt like this movie already had so much in it with the Wonder Woman stuff and with the Batman stuff, with the Lex Luthor stuff, and then all the Justice League stuff. And at the end of it, they still decided to put in the death of Superman. And for a Superman movie, or a movie, people say it's not. It's Batman versus Superman, so it's as much one as it is the other. Although it was originally going to be called Man of Steel 2. If I was a Superman fan, a diehard Superman fan, and I saw this film, I would be pissed. I would be upset. He has a couple fights where he gets his butt kicked and then he dies. Very, very bad treatment here for the Man of Steel, as everybody cries for Krypton's favorite son, Krypton's last son, Superman. And this is nothing, like I said, nothing against the actors or anything like that. Amy Adams doing a good job, and I've always liked Henry Cavill as Superman. It's just I don't feel like they needed to go here particularly. Wonder Woman just kind of knew him that day, and then he died, so she doesn't even know how to feel. Maybe she doesn't even feel that bad anyway. But she's a warrior, and she knows casualties happen, and I guess Superman in this instance might just be the greatest casualty of all. And you got Batman coming out of the shadows, which is something that happened in the trailer. We were led to believe that he was doing that to Superman, but now we know he came out of the shadows to look at Superman's body, as the other two remaining of the Trinity stand over their fallen ally and wonder what's next. Very, very powerful scene, I guess. If they were a little nicer to Superman, I probably would have felt a little bit more, probably would have felt more bad for him. In another deleted scene, the military SWAT force, or whoever is here to arrest Lex Luthor, goes into the Kryptonian ship. Oh, is it? Yep, FBI. Is it FBI? Where he is learning about mother boxes from Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf, rumored to be the Justice League villain. So this was supposed to be the Easter egg of Easter eggs. Although I'm not too familiar with Steppenwolf, I'm going to have to do my research so I can be all ready for this Justice League film. And when we heard about Lex Luthor and we saw him with his head full of hair, we were waiting for this moment right here. Because the Lex I know, and Lex you know, ladies and gentlemen, is a bald Lex. And there he is. Right there, bald Lex Luthor. And I want to think the cutting of the hair signifies a different kind of mindset. I know he was a little bit Joker-ish, a little bit Riddler-ish in this film, with a little bit of tics, nervous tics to show that he was a genius and it was just barely being contained. But hopefully this allows a little bit of maturity. And speaking of maturity, Metropolis is trying to mature without Superman. Superman is gone. And then a little bitty in the Daily Planet is like, oh yeah, and by the way, Clark Kent is also dead. So I thought that was kind of weird. Now we have an empty Metropolis. No one's getting haircuts. No one's hanging out. No one's going to Harry's sandwich shop. Because Superman died. Why do anything? The greatest hero of this generation, or at least in Metropolis, their greatest hero of all time, has been killed. Now, those are the same people that kind of shot a nuke at him. So, I don't know why they feel that bad. But it is what it is. In the meantime, Clark Kent is having his own funeral. All the way in Smallville. And there you got, Mama Kent cooking up some meals. Perry White stopping by as a boss would, to his most hated employee's funeral. Because Perry White hated Superman. Come on. I don't know why. He just did. But he's gonna come and get all the macaroni and cheese and all the kind of stuff he wants, and he's gonna go back to the Daily Planet. And there's Jonathan Kent, a picture of Jonathan Kent in the same casket as Clark. And Mama Kent basically just being saved by Batman, just finding out that her boy has new friends and they're also in the same line of work, so maybe she's gonna have help. And then later that night finds out that her son is dead. It can't be easy. And now we're gonna have a nice little mama girlfriend talk, I guess you could say. Mother-in-law, daughter-in-law talk. Look at that. All you have to do is say, "I do, Miss Lane." This movie starts off with the death of, with Bruce Wayne witnessing the death of his parents as a child. And then it ends with Martha Kent losing her child. Very depressing movie. A lot of death. A lot of family death, too. Martha Kent being threatened, It's a lot. There's a lot going on. But the gun salute. Let the jets fly. We have lost our greatest hero. And so, basically, they are doing a entire funeral for Superman, the man that they didn't know, the man whose secret identity they weren't aware of. The world is celebrating his life. Yes, the world is celebrating his life, mourning his death of Superman, the man that they didn't know, the alien that came from the sky that helped them. Now everybody else here in this scene, they are actually in Smallville, and they are at the funeral of Clark Kent, and some of those people know that Clark Kent is Superman. And I think that makes it that much more hard to realize that this guy was both the greatest, most powerful being of all time, and also the nicest, sweetest human being, the person, even though he was Kryptonian, that he could be. I was in the military, served the military, so I know about the gun salutes and the folding of the flag. These things are traditionally done for heroes, and you got to think that that is exactly what he's trying to do. Well, they're trying to do it. They're trying to commemorate a hero, just like if it was a war hero. And look at that. It's a shame. I didn't think that Superman needed to die in this film, by the way. But, they wanted a jam-packed movie, and this movie is jam-packed. This Ultimate Edition adding 30 extra minutes, but we're hitting the home stretch, ladies and gentlemen. This is the death of Superman. This is the funeral, and two separate. I thought it was poetic to have two separate funeral proceedings. One about one about Clark Kent the man, and one about Superman the man. And Bruce Wayne paid for everything. Bruce Wayne pays for everything, because he feels like he kind of failed this guy, who he ended up fighting for basically no good reason, because of a slew of misunderstandings. Which is unfortunate, don't get me wrong, but I don't get the guilt from Batman here. They weren't even that many that were really that good friends. But Batman has seen a vision of the future, has been contacted by Barry Allen, has seen all the Justice League folders, so you got to think that he has a different mission at hand. Now that Superman is gone and he is a martyr for the cause of justice, maybe we can get people together for this team. There he is, yeah. Bruce Wayne saying he failed him in life. I won't fail him in death. Which is admirable. Very admirable. And now he wants to put together the team. We got to put the team together. We got to get the band back together. Although it's not back together. These people haven't even met yet. But they want to stand together, create justice in a league of some sort. A 100 years ago, I walked away from mankind, a century of horrors. That means that after the events of Wonder Woman the film, she will be gone. She's gonna leave. So she'll help, I guess, the troops fight World War I, and through the atrocities of that and everything else that comes forward, she will leave. Then that beautiful score comes back in. And we see everybody mourning Superman, mourning a hero, you know, somebody who tried to be the best person that he possibly be for a world that didn't deserve him. And even though at every second, at every corner, people were saying that, you know, maybe they didn't deserve a Superman, maybe they didn't need a Superman, or who tells him he should act, now he's gone, and the world misses him because they realize how rare something like that truly is. And that's what, I mean, that, you know, that's what all these heroes try to embody. They try to embody the very best of the world. I know Batman is very dark and grim, but for the most part, he arrests people. He don't kill people because he believes in the justice system. He believes that wrong people will always do wrong and that right people can make wrong people right again. And that's something that's in the mythos of DC all through. It's in their DNA, this ability of their heroes to think that there's retribution in people. And right now we got Lex Luthor here, bald Lex Luthor, just chilling in his cell. You know, post bringing about Doomsday, post bringing Batman and Superman at odds. He's now just chilling in his cell. I don't know what you do after doing something like that and it doesn't work. Like, that is a big, big, big plan, but it didn't, and so he just waits to be searched here. Light starts to flicker a bit. Kind of looks like a music video. And then Batman appears. Batman's here, ladies and gentlemen, and Batman has a little bit of warning that you should probably heed. It'd probably be the very, very best to heed, because if Batman's coming to jail to speak to you, you gotta know it's serious. And Batman doesn't do conjugal visits, so here it goes. Wherever you go, wherever you do, I'll be watching you. And the Bat brand, which I think is new to this film series, or started with this film series, introduced the Bat brand. And basically in this moment, Lex Luthor is kind of telling Bruce Wayne or Batman that, hey, by the way, everybody thinks I'm crazy, so I'll just plead insanity. But then Bruce says, hey, by the way, I got a place for crazy people just like you. It's called Arkham Asylum in Gotham. Lex Luthor is going to Gotham, baby. And who knows what kind of crazies already locked up in Arkham Asylum that he could coerce for the future. But even with this threat and the smoking brand so close to his face, he says that the bell has been rung. He's prophesizing that he's heard a bell out there in the dark amongst the stars. Something is going on, and this is something that Lex has been kind of talking about. This coming of something. And look at that burning Bat brand, and then he's gone, just like that. I think who he's talking about is Darkseid. Hopefully it's Darkseid. It might be Steppenwolf though. Lots of bells. And Lex Luthor has officially gone off of his rocker. And right before he left, he finally changed over that painting. He said it always deserved to be upside down. Oh, now you got one man, Bruce Wayne, out there. He's going to try to put a team together, baby. He's got to. and the wife now, with the wedding ring on, of Lois, the wife of Bruce Wayne. Wow, I'm getting all these names mixed up. The wife of Clark Kent, Lois Lane, dropping the final, or the first, handful of dirt on top of the grave of her lover, of somebody who the world loved, Superman. But something special here as she walks away, and as we sit here to wonder what is going to happen next with our Justice League and our Man of Steel, we get just a little bit. See that dirt starting to rise? That means that the Superman is coming back. I'm going to go ahead and stop my copy here and just chat a little bit more about Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition. Now, as you can see, the Ultimate Edition added a whole bunch of new stuff to it. A bunch of cool stuff, like how much more detailed Lex Luthor's plan was, which gives me a little bit more respect for him. And the fact that Batman's going to put Lex in Gotham, which is going to link him up with a bunch of pretty bad people, hopefully, for the future. And speaking of the future, if you like this and you want us to do more comic book commentaries, make sure you go to facebook.com/comicbookclique, instagram.comicbookclique, and use the hashtag comicbookclique to talk about all the latest and greatest things that come to comic books and comic book media. We want to keep doing these. I'm not 100% sure which film will be next. Dawn of Justice was such a controversial film. I knew I had to give my 2 cents on it. So I'm thanking Comic Book Clique for giving me that opportunity. And I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys liked having Comic Book Clique right there in your home, eating your popcorn and watching this film alongside with you. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition comic book commentary, done by me, George Serrano, aka The Don. Like I said, keep liking, keep sharing, keep this thing alive, and always, always, always remember, you are worthy.